Welcome to Strip Cover Lit. I'm Adrian Fort.
And I'm Dalton Gentry.
And Dalton's angry again.
I'm just angry for no reason. This is Variety Hour. Thanks for watching.
Dalton, whenever Dalton's angry, he tries to blame it on me. He tries to I've been spending too much time with you.
It is your fault.
I might be angry a good deal of my life. I am productive angry. You are pissy angry. There is a very large difference there. Tell me there is not.
You take Dalton.
Okay, go on.
8 months ago.
Okay.
You take Dalton now. Those are different people.
You think?
This is Adrian saturated Dalton.
How are you different than you were 8 months ago?
I am completely, timid, shy, doesn't speak out of place Dalton is pretty much dead at this point.
Now I want you to explain to me what speaking out of place means.
When we first got here, I sat here, I'm like, what would you like to do, Adrian? Please instruct me, and I will just agree with you, and we'll read books, whatever you want to read. And, oh, you want to go see a movie? Let's go see a movie. Cigars? Love them. Let's smoke them.
See, this is how you do that. This is how you do that thing.
What thing?
Where you pretend that Adrian's the bad guy. And I go along with it because it's funny and we put on a face for the show. But, no.
I can't even walk into a Starbucks anymore. I used to go... Have you ever noticed I did this at the taco place?
You never walked into a Starbucks. You always use the drive-thru.
I always use the drive-thru. But I did this at the taco place. Have you noticed that?
What?
When I'm around a large amount of people, the timid Dalton comes out, I do this. I do. My hands go immediately to my chest, I sonder, and I don't make eye contact. You tell me that's a lie.
No, but that's always been the case.
I feel like now I go in somewhere, I'm like, I'd like a pumpkin spice latte, please. They said, we don't have pumpkin spice anymore, sir. I'm like, the fuck you don't have pumpkin spice anymore. Hook me up.
I don't do that.
No, you just go in and scream at the poor waitress.
That is not true. When have you seen me do that?
Every time we've ever gone anywhere.
No.
Yes.
You see, you make things
I don't
up.
make things up. We walk into Panera Bread and you're like, what's good here? And she's like,
That is not the tone of voice I have.
Yes.
Then how come she gave me your phone number?
She didn't.
That's
I
true.
was there. She took your name down, and I think she spelled it wrong. Anyway.
I am not a bad customer. I work customer service. I work retail. I say please and I say thank you.
Yes, you do.
Even at the drive-thrus, I say, can I have such and such, please?
Yes.
It'll be $3.19. Thank you.
I give you that.
Okay.
I feel better.
So,
I just
all of
needed
these
that
stories
moment.
that you've made up.
They're not made up. I am dead serious. You walked into that day and you were like, what's good here? And she's like,
That is not the tone with which these things occurred.
what do you eat here? I don't understand this menu. How does this menu
I don't understand
work?
the menu. The menu
That's
at
what it
Panera is terrible.
When Adrian is uncomfortable and doesn't understand something, he gets extremely defensive.
No, I get aggressive.
Yes.
Not necessarily defensive.
Whether that is the pick two menu at Panera that you don't understand, you become aggressive with
There are
it.
extreme amounts of options there. How come you pick 2 from 3 menus? How come you pick 2 from 3 screens?
Anyway, I'm better now. I've relaxed.
Now I'm pissed off.
Okay. What would you like to talk about? As everybody's tuned out, they're like, I can't watch this anymore. One of them's going to hit the other one. Oh, poor Dalton.
Which, if you'd like to see that, just let us know below and we'll go at it.
Tends to happen a lot. Anyway, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
this
What you
week?
got? What you got?
Clowns. Clowns. Are you familiar with this phenomenon that's going on right now with clowns?
Vaguely? Is that just an internet hoax?
Not so much. I guess there's
Really?
some truth behind it. Essentially, this new thing has come to fruition. I believe they call it clowning around, which I at least give them props for the title. People dress as clowns and just kind of creep. Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning and, you're walking down a bike path for some reason. There's a clown in the woods. Usually holding a knife or something. That's unnerving.
It's amazing. It is 2016. We are 30 years away from when It was published. It comes around every 30 years.
Best publicity stunt ever. However, there's always a bad side to this, a downside. These clown entities, these people who go clowning, and my assumption here is this is a group of adolescents who have taken this too far. I'd like to hope that's what this is, and it isn't the latter of this is a serious matter. But they've taken to starting to threaten schools, things like that. Very scary stuff when it becomes real.
Yeah.
This clowning thing has started to come to the Midwest. I guess it's like slowly progressing. This is what's going to happen, because this is the Midwest.
Oh, boy.
Some kid is going to think it's fun, and he's going to scare people, and he's going to put on a clown costume, and he's going to go clowning.
He's going to have a knife.
And he's going to have a knife, and he's going to go to some farmer's land and try to creep around, and he's going to get shot. And
or a public park.
Or a public park, even. And he's going to get shot. And it's going to be a tragedy, and it's just going to be a mess.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous.
Sounds like fun, though.
No. No, it doesn't.
Why doesn't it?
Just to put on a clown costume and scare people?
You don't have to proactively scare people.
That's what they're doing.
People are terrified of clowns anyway.
And now they're terrified of them because these clowns, this group of clowns, is threatening people. This is a dangerous game now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Anyway, that's my national news for the week.
On that note, I had my first nightmare in forever.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, go on, tell me.
I don't know where this came from. I had a dream that I was listening to music while I was writing, I believe, and my downstairs neighbor bump, bump, bump on the ceiling, right?
Okay.
So that means, in apartment talk, that means quiet the fuck down. I'm trying to sleep.
Yes, it certainly does.
So, in this dream, the next thing I remember is I'm on the second story, is hearing someone come up the steps. So, all of a sudden there's a knock on the door, and my door to open pulls in. So I pull it, and it opens about 6 inches. And then it's like it's stopped by a stone. I can't move it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And it sucks back shut. So I go over to the window, which is right next to the door, and I pull up the shades, and there's this like 7-8 foot tall person bounding down my steps with wild hair, which is just a strange thing to see at like 2 a.m, right?
Okay.
Was not my downstairs neighbor. So I said, okay, that's weird, but it's fine. I put the shades down. I turn around to see a pillow being thrown at me. And I just catch the pillow as a reaction. And none of this sounds scary, right?
Okay.
But when you're home alone and something gets thrown at you,
yes,
something's
terrifying.
Yeah, something's wrong. So I put it down, and there's no one here. I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking around the apartment for someone, and I step into the bathroom, and my broom is broken in two, and it's on the ceiling, but it's not hanging. It's just like levitating there. So by this time, Dream Adrian is thoroughly creeped out.
Okay. And
he goes out of the apartment, down the steps to see what downstairs neighbor's doing, because obviously at 3 a.m, that's what you want to do. Especially when there's a 9 foot tall person out there. And my downstairs neighbor has his shades, his blinds, not open, but how do you say that? Where
like vented open?
Yeah, vented open. And he's just standing in front of them. And it's a bit strange. And he asks me if I'm having ghost problems. Like, that's what comes out of his mouth. And so that was terrifying.
Yes.
That was a nightmare.
I can't remember the last nightmare that I had, but I do realize that apparently at one point in my life, I was the stuff of nightmares. You're talking about a large person bounding down your stairs with just wild hair.
Yeah.
I'd like to point out that I am 6 foot tall. With the afro, I was 6'6". I think that's a line from Fletch, and it's actually true, which is delightful. On a lighter note...
Well, hold on.
Oh, yes.
My next dream.
Yes.
In my next dream, I was someone that everyone knew as the grumpy guy. So there's not much out of place there.
No.
But everyone knew me as the bad guy. And I was missing a ring, and I hadn't had that ring in a while. And I really wanted it. And I was pretty sure that a younger man was using my ring now. And you know, a dream like that, I'm sure there's a Freudian interpretation to it. But I'll be damned if I can get there on my own. You know, I just can't get there. I don't understand the symbolism there. Freud's interpretations of dreams, where would that go?
You feel better?
You tell me.
On a brighter note, I mentioned this to you last week. I used to do a lot of musical theater and whatnot.
Like to smoke after destruction.
I know you do. I used to do a lot of musical theater. I always sing on my drive here. I have like a 35, 40-minute drive here.
Yeah, I hear you sometimes as you take the corner into my complex.
You're welcome for that. It's called projection.
Now all my neighbors know we're a couple.
Exactly. Actually, when we do the recording thing here with the audio machine, we were really freaked out when we first got this microphone because like Dalton's spikes are like up here.
Yeah.
And Adrian's just like... But anyway, always sing when I get here. Love musical theater. Wish I had the time to invest in it. The theater not too far away from me next year is doing Young Frankenstein the musical.
Yeah.
We have to do that. We have to get in on it.
I can't sing.
I don't care.
I cannot sing.
We can teach you. We have a year.
Dalton, I've never heard you really sing. Every time you sing around me, you put on the weird showman voice, right?
Yes, I do. I don't have a reason to sing around you. That's okay.
But you could have sang me Happy Birthday,
no.
right? Like an adult.
We have to do it. We do. If we are full-time by next year, we are going to audition for Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
All there is to it.
Yeah.
Because I love musical theater, and it sucks that I don't have the time to invest in it anymore, and that is an awesome part. It's not like an ideal part that I've always wanted, but it's an amazing part, and I'd love to have it.
What part do you want?
Dr. Victor von Frankenstein.
Okay.
Because that part's amazing.
Yeah.
So, that's my plug for the week. That's what I'm excited about.
What do you know about that as a musical? I don't know anything about it as a musical.
I went and saw it when the Broadway tour came through Kansas City. I drove through an ice storm at like 30 miles an hour all the way to Kansas City to see it. And it is amazing. It is produced, written by Mel Brooks. It is quality. It is hilarious. And I'm very upset that it had a very short run. But now it's available for, community theater rights, and I'm all about that.
Good.
Anyway.
How many of his how many of his movies are plays, and how many of his plays are at that level, do you know?
Well, the producers, obviously.
Right.
Young Frankenstein. Those are the only two that I know of.
Really?
Yes. Yes, as far as I know. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Which is also unfortunate. Mel Brooks is a genius.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything in Adrian's life that Adrian needs to talk about, wants to vent about?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of?
It's no secret by this point in time that we film multiple videos on one day, right? And
yes.
We got through with our first round of patron poems today. And I have to say, what a great job Silje and Monse did selecting poems. Holy moly.
They did very well. Those will be coming up Saturday and Sunday. We have Sylvia Plath, Lady Lazarus, and we have Monse picked...
a quiet one.
I want to say, is it Percy?
Percy Shelley.
Percy Shelley, thank you very much. Percy Shelley, Mutability.
Mutability.
For some reason, I'm like Pierre Shelley. Oh, Pierre Shelley. Anyway, I've been dabbling with the idea, you're going to be proud of me here,
okay,
of doing some writing.
Yeah.
It's October, and everything that I do now, I have to get Adrian on board with. This is something you need to learn about communicating with Dalton. Dalton takes ownership of nothing. If Dalton needs a day off, he's like, hey, Adrian, you must have had a really rough week at work. Should we just take today off? Would that make you feel better?
I'm so glad you recognize that about yourself.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure about it. I own nothing.
You don't want blame for the causation of anything.
Nope. Because if everything erupts into fire, my hands are clean. But anyway, I say, Adrian, it's October. A lot of famous horror stories were written as a competition. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, That's a great example. We should have a horror writing competition. Adrian says I'm not doing that. I don't got time right now. Not gonna write a scary story with you, Dalton. Go away. So heartbroken and downtrodden, I went home. Did some research. I've got an idea, and I think I want to play with it. So I might do some writing.
Can you talk about any of it?
Not knowledgeably. There is something I really want to read. Everything we talk about is race, obviously. I want to play with that a lot.
Okay.
So it could be dangerous grounds, and I have talked to someone who is part of the race that will be a major portion of this novel about the historical lore of their culture, which is going to be a part of it. And I think all is good. All is well. They seem approachable about it, and they seem excited that somebody's taken interest in that. But I want to make sure my facts are straight. I don't want to be
a Native American curse or burial ground.
A Native American, yes. Native American,
not a burial ground.
No,
okay,
absolutely.
That's
not.
been done.
That's absolutely.
I don't know
been
if
done.
you knew that.
Thank you. However, I want to make sure my facts are right. If that makes sense. You don't want to go pissing in the wind.
Right.
You want to know what you're talking about.
Right.
So,
what did you have in mind? Are you going to be writing certain words per day, or what are you doing?
I'm not sure. At this point, I feel rusty about writing, and I just want to get something down. I want to handwrite it because that feels right. And there's something just amazingly you feel accomplished when you have a notebook.
Okay.
It takes too goddamn long.
To handwrite?
Yes.
When you're talking about a novel scope, I'll agree with you. I think that when you're working on poetry or short stories, I think that it helps to handwrite them because you have to think more about every word that goes into it.
I think handwriting is good for a second draft.
A second draft?
Yes. I want to type that first draft. I want to get all the words out as fast as I possibly can and have my framework, and then take it and rewrite it by hand. Because that's when you sit and think. That's when you choose your words carefully. I cannot handwrite a first draft ever again. It's pain.
Yeah.
Absolute pain. You handwrite everything, don't you?
I do.
I know.
Except on the novel scope.
Really?
Yeah. I compose directly onto a laptop.
Okay.
I'll have to pull it out and crank it up to get it to work. But I will beat you.
Is that what this is?
What is that? What is?
Are you finally accepting that I had a good idea?
I'll beat you.
It sunk in, didn't it?
Let's do it.
You spent the week talking about it, and you let it sink in, and now you want it.
I spent the week saying, fuck you, Dalton.
Yeah, you want it.
Okay, well, I'll beat you.
Here's another fun fact. You say typewriter. Laptop is better. You should try typing on a typewriter. Because if you think handwriting is slow, woof! You should sit there and punch the keys as hard as physically possible to make ink appear.
You let me play on your little hipster mobile when I was up there at your place.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. It was nice. It was different.
It is different. It feels different. There's a lovely sound and ambiance it creates.
If you would like to gift me a typewriter, Dalton's address is all over the internet.
Apparently so. If people want my address, I'm like, hey, here you go. Have fun with it.
Don't ever try to send me anything because I live in an apartment. And living in an apartment in the Midwest means that I don't get any of my own mail, but I get all of everyone else's in the buildings. I've had to I've had to deliver 3 pieces of mail this week that have been left on my doorstep. And I just take it to the person's door and I drop it there.
I live in an interesting area of my city. When I was a kid, visiting this area, it wasn't a bad area. I have a lot of good things down there. Now,
it's a pretty bad area.
It's a pretty bad area. Things have changed, how times have changed. And I get visitors a lot who aren't there to see me. And I open the door, and someone who is obviously in not a lucid state of mind, is that a proper way to put it?
Pretty proper.
Right,
proper, governor.
Is asking for someone who doesn't live there.
Yeah.
And I say, no. Who was the last? I think it was Dixie. They were looking for Dixie. I said, no, Dixie doesn't live here. You have the wrong house. At which point, that just didn't comprehend, I'm here for Dixie. I'm just going to start asking when people knock on my door, like, are you from the internet? I mean, is this what this is?
Sounds like something from a Flannery O'Connor novel.
Yeah?
Or story. Yeah.
I'm not really familiar.
Flannery O'Connor? Oh, man, you got to look into Flannery O'Connor. Flannery O'Connor stuff is just So dark and so good.
Yeah?
Yeah. We'll have to read some maybe next month.
I actually texted Adrian once because I had someone show up to my house wanting to buy my car, which was not for sale. It was just parked. And I said, no, not for sale. And this particular gentleman, who again was not in the right state of mind, he was, chemically imbued with superpowers, became furious that I would not let him in my house to talk about selling my car. So I tell Adrian this, and he's like, you need to do something about this. I'm like, no, I just lock the doors and turn off the lights. I'm laying under a blanket in my bedroom. I'm safe now.
You need to have a gun under that blanket, and you need to have the police on the way.
My neighborhood is not the best anymore.
And it's weird, too, because the fronts of your houses are on the back alley of the streets.
Yes. I don't use my front door. I exclusively use my back door to go into the house. That's where the car is parked. That's where the yard is. My house is very bizarre. But if someone comes to the front door, it's never a good sign.
Right.
Yes, because anybody who knows me just goes to the back door. It's unlocked.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
It is.
Don't put that on the internet.
It is.
If you would like to apply to be the next host, co-host of Strip Cover Lit, Dalton's probably not showing up next week. I need an editor.
Oh, here's the thing. We were here at your apartment once, and I'm going to make fun of you a little bit here.
What else is new?
There was a noise, a loud noise, booming noise, possibly a gunshot. This is Kansas City. Adrian goes into survival mode.
That was a month. That was a month after a kid was shot and killed by friends of his in the very parking lot from which that boom came from.
Yes. So I can't really judge you for going in survival mode.
Do you know how often I get a light shined in my window from a helicopter?
Really?
Yes.
It's things like this that I don't know. Maybe it's just the work environment or something, but I'm just, yeah. There was a shooting literally across the street from my house at that, it used to be a school, you know what I'm talking about? I heard the gunshot. I'm like, that was a gunshot. I should go outside and see what's going on. And I walked out in my robe and slippers. I'm like, that was a gunshot, all right. And I just stood and watched. That's my reaction to things.
I don't... Okay, that doesn't mean it's... I am hardened by work. It means you're dumb. Because I don't care if you work in law enforcement or not, that bullet's going to tear through you just like it did the last guy.
Maybe it's just a curiosity, like I have to know what's going on.
Dalton is the white guy in scary movies that hears a gunshot. What was that? We should go investigate.
No, I don't do that.
Split up.
No, I don't go trolloping off into the woods, barrel-chested, looking for the gunshot. But I do go stand on the porch in my slippers and robe. I'm like, what's this? My neighbors hate me.
It's not just your neighbors.
Oh, yes, I know. Anything else you want to talk about this lovely, bizarre turning variety hour?
Have you had your pumpkin spice latte this year?
I have. I have had one pumpkin spice latte, which is all that I will allow myself.
Yeah.
Because it's like the guy who...
Because you're a basic white bitch, right?
Yes.
Isn't that what they say?
This is true. It's like the guy who doesn't drink anymore, but when his son gets married, he has a glass of wine.
You're the hipster that doesn't pumpkin spice latte anymore.
Because if I let my
son... When it's October.
Once a year, it's like the McRib. When the McRib comes back, you have one.
And you realize why they took it away.
But you don't have more than one, because that's when the binge comes. And that's when I'm at Starbucks every day. I'm like, got any more pumpkin spice?
There's no real ribs in here. Why is it shaped like that?
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying. I don't have anything else to say.
Yeah, we're boring.
Poured my heart out this variety hour.
We're working very hard on the channel this month, though, right?
Yes. This is going to be a huge month for us. We hope everything's laying down perfectly right now. We do have a schedule online.
We are shooting 9 videos today, 6 of which are reviews. 7 of which are reviews.
7 of which are full 25, 30-minute reviews. We have 2 haul videos. This is in addition to another review that we have filmed in a backlog that we're ready to upload, to some solo videos that Adrian has. There is so much that we're doing right now. I forget how exhausted I get at this point. We used to film for like 16 to 17 hours.
Yeah.
Straight shot. We filmed 2-week segments. We filmed for like 7, 8 hours today, and I'm like, I'm done. I've grown accustomed to a different lifestyle. I can't do this. So we're going to push, and we're going to have a great October, and we're going to look at November and see what that brings.
Yeah, if you have any ideas of what you would like to see in November, let us know below. I'm thinking some Flannery O'Connor. We're thinking maybe the Scarlet Letter for Thanksgiving.
Yes. We've talked about doing maybe a graphic novel in there somewhere.
What is it? Doctor Strange comes out. The movie comes out.
I've said,
November,
for popularity's sake, because we never do anything current, whatever wins the Man Booker this year, we need to immediately review. So we might do that as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you like this kind of thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. Give this video a sympathy like.
Because you know the dislikes are coming.
They're coming.
Make sure you follow us on Twitter @StripCover and on Facebook @StrippedCoverLit.